Hey guys. Okay, so I am here to talk about getting in shape, and I have been a little bit inspired. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the show Revenge Body by, not by, but with Khloe Kardashian. But I've been watching it because they've been playing the reruns lately. And it's actually a really good show to watch while you're working out. So I've been watching it while I'm on my treadmill. But I wanted to just talk about like, what do we actually need? What do we actually need to do to get ourselves back like on track? Because really, the same way that you've got out of shape or fallen into a place where you finally wake up with an awareness of, oh wow, I don't feel healthy, or oh wow, I've gained weight, or oh wow, my digestion is like not so good. It's it's the same way that you get yourself back to where you want to be, or if you've never even been there, then it's how you get there. Okay? So this is why when I um, first talk to people, when I first talk to clients, um, it's super helpful, and this is something you can do right now. It's super helpful if you just kind of go through what you're currently doing right now from morning until night in regards of your health, in the perspective of, or the lens of, what are you doing with your body? What are you doing with your food? What are you doing with your water intake? What are you doing with exercise or not doing with exercise? So if you, this is how I used to start all of my sessions. So you explain to me, tell me the story, what's been going on, how have you been acting, what kind of person are you living in regards of health day to day, right? And it's probably similar day to day to day, right? That you're just in a habit or you're in a pattern, and in order to get something different, you're going to have to change this pattern. And that doesn't mean that you have to be crazy, a crazy person about it and go do a million things at once, like they do on that show, right? But it can be inspiring, right? If you want to have a dramatic result, to go do, 2-a-days and hire a nutritionist and a trainer and all of that. But it's actually a lot more simple than we think that it is. And it really takes moving your energy one thing at a time. So if you think about all the stuff that you do from the morning till the night with your diet and with your health and with your thoughts and beliefs about what you're doing with your diet and your health and your exercise, you'll know right away for yourself what is most relevant to your current situation that needs some tweaking or complete tweaking in order to make a change, okay? So you can look at from the morning till the night, what are you doing? What are you not doing? Where are you going? Where are you not going? And then, where is there confusion? That stuff needs to be worked out too. And that's like the easy part, right? At least for me, like I can give you easy feedback on questions about food, questions about eating different things when, questions about food pairings or whatever. But the first thing that you want to look at is, where's the biggest energy leak? Where's the biggest energy leak? Where in your current world, where in your current lifestyle is this topic of you, your health, and your body in the biggest gap? Because that's exactly where you want to go and look and focus to make the first change. And that's going to make the biggest change as well. And that's perfect, because when you go straight to where the biggest gap is, then by practicing something different, and you do have to practice it, it doesn't just flip overnight most of the time, for most people. And if it does, that's fine too. And then you can go to the next thing. But if you go to the place where you have this like biggest gap and you decide, well, I'm not going to do that exact thing that I do, time and time again, day after day, that's when you are, number one, going to feel way more empowered because you're doing something different. You're being someone new, therefore you're going to get a different result. You're taking your power back from that situation that has been in the cycle of going in a way that you know isn't the right way for you to get what you want with your body and your health. And the second part of it, besides the feeling of being empowered, the feeling of gaining your confidence, is that you'll see the results fastest. Because if you know that your biggest energy leak with food in your body and your diet is, like you don't eat lunch and then you're starving at 3 o'clock, and so you just binge on something because it's what's available and it's easy and you're so hungry, like you literally need sugar and glucose in your body, and it's true that you do because you haven't been sustaining it and fueling it all through the morning or whatever. You're not eating enough, or it could be 1,000 different things, right? These are just some of the common ones that I hear from people. But if you know that's the problem, that's the time of the day that ends up spiraling me to a bad pattern, or that's where I seem to break my good habits, then that's the exact place that you want to target. And so you might just know what it is and have that awareness. So the first step is to have the awareness of it. What is this place? What is this thing that is keeping me stuck in a rut? Because that's what most people are. And you don't need to feel like overwhelmed by it or anything. Just know, like, this pattern that you've gotten yourself into, it's just as easy to get yourself into a new pattern and for that new pattern to feel the exact amount of normalcy and the way that it is and ease as it is right now. So you could be in a pattern of self-sabotaging. That's what happens every day. Like I wake up and I have the best intentions. I go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. But then there's like kids or whatever, and I'm working and I'm busy and I forget to eat. And then I go and I eat cookies, or then I go and I eat like something. And then it ruins my mind because my mind's telling me I blew it and that I messed up. And so then I'm like, well, I might as well eat whatever I want for dinner. And then you go to bed and you feel bad and wake up and do it again, right? So that's just one example. But it seems like, oh my gosh, I keep doing this. Why am I keeping doing this? And I know I don't want to be doing this. However much you feel like I can't break out of this in the place where you don't want to be, you can also be in that amount of familiarity and like, oh my gosh, this is just how it is. It's so normal. It's so the same. It's so the way that it is for the way that you do want it to be. And then that's when you're like thriving in your body, thriving in your health. And it's just so easy for you to get the results that you want to get and to have. And all the drama or the energy leaks around what do I eat, when do I eat, what do I do, am I doing this right? All of that garbage has been eliminated because you're so sure of who you are and your relationship to your body and your relationship to food now that you know how to easily just be in that state of mind, to be in that type of lifestyle. And so the real work is going from the pattern, the cycle, the energy pattern of I'm doing the same things, I'm doing the same things, I'm doing the same things, whether it's eating things you don't want to, or eating more than you want to, or not going to the gym, or not doing your workouts, or maybe it's just your head in your mind telling you that you're doing stuff wrong, or that you can't do it, or you're not doing it right, or whatever that situation is. That's what we need to move over to the new situation where things go as you want them to. And maybe you don't even know what that looks like, but you don't have to know all of that. But it's this process, right? It's this process of like getting out of the rut, out of the pattern, out of the cycle where you're staying the same, or you're going backward, or you're just not getting there. So your first step is to identify, create an awareness of the fact that this is what's happening. Unless you're like totally on a roll right now and you know what you're doing with food and it's like perfectly a breeze, then that's awesome, good for you, keep doing it, okay? But if you aren't there, then the first job is to have this awareness of what's the biggest part of my day-to-day life that is with the topic of my body, with my health, that area of life, what's the thing that the biggest thing that either you're doing, you're not doing, you're thinking, or you're not thinking that's keeping you in the holding pattern. And that's what you want to work on first, right? So that's where you're going to make the biggest gains and the biggest progress, okay? So let's do a couple examples, okay? So like I've talked about this before, like when I hit my breaking point, when I was doing the fertility stuff, when I was doing the fertility treatments, I remember my husband saying, like, this is the definition of insanity. We just keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? Like 4 times we did these IVF transfers. And I was like, yeah, that's really stupid. And then like I had to hit the point where I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and I'm not going to feel sick anymore. I'm not going to feel like out of my own body anymore. Like it's unacceptable to me. So then we decided to break the pattern, or at least I did. And I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to figure this out. So going from a place of, I don't know what's going on with my body, to I'm going to figure it out no matter what, right? And that's really the first part of the energy you have to be in to find a way to make the changes. So as we said, if you're in the cycle of it's going the same way, I'm not getting what I want, then you have a lot of momentum that way. You have a lot of energy going in the direction of not having the health and body I want. So this is where the practical steps come in so powerfully to help pull you out of it. So it's really just inching along a little bit by a little bit to go from this over here, excuse me, I just ate lunch, to all the way to the flow towards easily having what you want and being in that role with it instead. So you kind of have to look at, you know, what are these first things that I'm going to have to do? So is it, I don't even know what to eat, right? I don't even know what to eat. I don't know what to have in my cupboard. I don't know what to have in my fridge. What am I supposed to be doing for breakfast? And so those first steps really are helpful to have like guidance on so that you have the confidence in them, right? So you're like, I know I'm on the right track, right? So here's a funny example. So I was watching Revenge Body, and this girl was on the show, and these are all reruns, by the way, so I've seen them all. But she was working with a trainer who was also a nutritionist, and he had given her a plan to like start her diet in a certain way, which was like drinking 3 smoothies a day for so many days. I don't know. And I don't even know what was in them. But she started to do it, but then she immediately started to question that plan, because in her mind, everything that she's always done before was eat a lot of protein and like, you know, vegetables, which is a really common mindset when somebody is approaching changing their health and weight loss. Like it's pretty much conditioned into our culture, like eat, you know, chicken and salad, or, you know, steak or whatever. And that's fine. It sometimes is the best next step. But because he told her something different, she was lacking in her faith around that plan. So it's super important that whatever you are doing in your day-to-day life, like in your kitchen, grocery shopping, working out, it's super important that you actually believe in the steps that you're doing. Because if you don't, you're like losing out on tons of energy that would be backing your actions, right? So it's a sort of tricky cycle. Like when we talk about creating something new with our bodies and with our health, it's so like what comes first, right? Because we're in our bodies, in our minds, we're thinking, and we're so in them that we can't sometimes detach from them. But whatever it is that you decide to do, you have to completely believe in it, and it has to resonate with you, right? So you can ask yourself right now, like, what am I doing day to day with my nutrition? What am I doing day to day with my health, with my workouts, with drinking water, or whatever? And number one, do I 100% believe in the exact things that I'm doing right now? If you don't, then there's room to work with it, right? So you can get your energy behind anything, right? Because there's people out there that just eat whatever they want and maintain the figure that they want, right? We know this is true, but the reason that that works for them is because they believe that it will. If they didn't believe that they could eat like all the carbs and the pasta and whatever they're doing and still be healthy and have the figure they want, then it wouldn't work. So that's what we have to do too. We have to look at, well, what am I doing right now, day to day to day? Shoot, my phone's ringing. And do I 100% believe in it? If you don't believe in it, why not? Is it just like you're questioning yourself or you're questioning the process? Or is it that you really aren't sure about some things? Is it that there really is some room to learn? You know, how can I better use my food? How can I better train? What am I missing? Or like, what maybe don't I know about putting this all together for myself? So there's that, right? So you have to back your actions with faith and belief and know that it is right and it is true and it will then work when you do the work. And I think that a lot of times people, it could be several sides of this equation, right? It could be, well, I just don't know if this is enough. And this is like the difference, right, between different clients I had. Like when I used to do the food sensitivity testing, I could tell from the beginning, like who was going to get the results for sure. I could tell that because I knew and felt the energy that these clients brought into the appointments and the sessions. They were completely so done with not feeling good. They were completely so done with not looking the way that they wanted, and they were willing to do exactly the things that we laid out. And while we now know that it's not necessary to be so formulaic and restrictive as far as like take away almost every food and like eat these 10 things for 10 days, we don't have to do that anymore. But it is such a big factor and it makes a huge difference on you, your relationship to where you're going, and this path that you've decided to go on that's going to take you there, okay? So your energy on the process has to be, this works for me. This works for me. Like, why would it not work for me? If it works for someone else, why wouldn't it work for me? So I think that's one thing that I can say has really grown within myself is my relationship to the faith and the confidence that I have in the way that I eat, right? So I've said this before, but like other people I know eat cleaner than I do, and they have health issues. So it's not to say that your health only depends on your food and your diet, because it doesn't. It depends on your whole body and your whole energy system and, you know, where are you being drained or stressed or whatever. But I can say that this for me is true, that I know that the way that I eat is enough. And I know that the foods that I put in my body work. And I know that they work, and I believe that they work, and no one could ever tell me that they will not work. And so that puts me in a place where I know that I'm not going to have a liver disease, you know, I'm not going to get joint pain, or I'm not going to have acne anymore, right? I know that because the way that the food is processing in my body, it's so clear to me, it's so certain to me, it's so like duh to me that like, no, I'm not available to not have my health. So that is a huge element that's, I think a lot of people are lacking. Like they just go and do like, you know, some kind of new diet or new plan or whatever without really checking in to see, do I think this is going to work for me? And if you don't think it's going to work for you, then those things have to be addressed right away at the beginning so that you can clear those disbeliefs and create new solid foundations. And it's not like you just all of a sudden are like, oh my God, I totally believe in zucchini and cucumbers and blah, 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 blah. It's taken me a while to get to this point, but now I'm here and I'm never going to go back. But that's just the same, right? Because there was years ago, I was in the energy pattern of, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's wrong with my body. How in the hell am I going to get out of this? to this place now through learning and experimenting and trying things with food and understanding energetics of quantum physics and manifestation and the human gut and how food interplays with all of that. Now I know that I know that I know. And when you know something, it's done. When you know it, it's for sure. You just have to hang in there until it happens. So I knew that food worked for me before my body completely healed itself. I just kept going with it. So you have to look at, one, what am I doing right now that isn't completely in alignment, right? Because if it was all in alignment, you would have what you want. So what practical things are going on? What are you doing with your food, your diet, your exercise that you are or you aren't doing? Or what energy state are you in on that, where you don't believe in yourself or you don't believe in this system? Because you have to. You have to. And here's what I'll say about people that come into my little community is I think that we just all have so much space to learn about the power that we do have for our health and for our bodies when it comes to the way that we fuel ourselves. Because to me, it's like the hugest thing, right? And when you do this, when you pour into yourself good nutrition day after day after day, and you know why you're doing it, and you start to learn about how it's working, and you start to get it, and you start to feel the differences in your physical shape, it allows all this other stuff to be so much easier in your mind and in your thoughts and in your head. And if you just hang around with me long enough, you're going to start to believe it too. You just will. And that's what I want. I want for you guys to all feel like you know what to do, like you have the ability to do it. It's not that hard, and to put so much faith and so much confidence that this is good enough. Like this diet where you just eat a lot of color, this diet where you like focus on fruits and vegetables, this diet where you focus on getting well-sourced ingredients no matter what, if you're vegan, vegetarian, paleo, pescatarian, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It just matters that you find a way to put good things into your system all the time, and then learn how you navigate through it, tweak it so that it's good for you where you are right now today, going to where you're going tomorrow, and on and on and on. So there's all these things, right? But it definitely is energy. It definitely is getting out of the pattern you're in, using the way that you eat, the way that you're moving your body, and the way that you're thinking about what these things are. You line them up and you get what you want. You just do. It can't not work. I mean, you have to see there's so many examples in the world of people eating all different ways and like doing this workout or that workout or whatever. So my role is not to tell you everyone do what I do. Everyone eat like I eat. Yes, I'm going to share tons of examples and methods and formulas because those things work, and there are certainties with the body, and there are certainties with food. Like if you eat I don't know, like cupcakes with red food dye, yes, you are going to be creating problems in your brain. That's just a fact, okay? So unless you're a person that's over here going, oh, I 100% believe that red food dye is as good for me as organic apples. Like, no, I don't think you're gonna do that. And you don't wanna take the time and energy and work to like train yourself to believe that when you could just like not eat that and do something nice for yourself, right? So you just have to get into that place where you know, and you learn like the simplest things that are the actual truths about food. I want you to know how it works. I want you to know how your body receives it. I want you to know that you can allow your body to receive it and that it's good enough. And it doesn't have to be crazy and restrictive. But this one pattern that I see a lot is we don't trust that this simple way of eating that tastes good, that fills us up, that feels good. It doesn't feel like deprivation, and it's kind of like it seems too good to be true sometimes. And so we tell ourselves, because we've all been trained and conditioned a lot, that anything good has to be hard or take a long time or be difficult. At least that's a lot of my conditioning that I see around a lot of people too. It's that how can it just be that easy? Well, everything is supposed to be like that, right? You're not supposed to kick and scream and struggle yourself to your skinny jeans. That's not the way that God intended it. And it's still not the way that it works. You can do that, but you're just going about it all the hardest way, and it's so silly. So you have to put yourself into the flow. And this is really about finding your flow with food, with exercise, with your mindset, with you actually knowing you get to have this thing that you want with your health, your body, your gut, your skin, your shape, the way you fit into clothes, the way that you feel, your confidence, walking into your room, going on dates, whatever it is. Like that's what you get to have. So how are we going to get you there in the purest way? So nothing that I teach is a trend. Nothing that I teach is like a fad. Everything I teach is sustainable, true, and real, and it will be forever and ever. Amen. So it's just science, energy, mechanics of the body, and then figuring out where you are in relationship to these topics so that I can help you get to where you want to go. Okay? So I'm so excited, you guys, because I'm going to start to open up registration for Fueled and Focused again. If you've done it before, you can join in, but it's going to be live. And of course, like the back end is going to be filled with tutorials about food, explaining like even all these pictures of like different vegetables and fruits and like what you can do with them to be really creative and open up possibility for, you know, just easier recipes and such for your daily lives. But I'm going to lead this group through it, and it's going to be really, really fun. So we're going to start at the beginning with what I touched on today, which is, what do you think about the reality of you accomplishing this goal that you set? So we're all going to set our intentions together. And then I'm going to help you figure out where you stand on it and what you need to do before you even make one change in your diet, in your lifestyle, on the physical. Because what I've learned for sure is when you back up your energy with the steps that you take, it's like 1,000 times the benefit of you just like going and deciding to join a gym, or you just deciding to go eat this certain way, like out of the blue. You didn't think about it, you didn't prepare, you didn't set and realizing what your expectations are for that. It's such a difference. Okay, so Fueled and Focused, let me just put it in here so that I can pin it. And it's 6 weeks, but there's way more content than that in there, so you'll have so much to go through for, you know, as long as you want, but you'll be able to access a lot of the cooking stuff right away, and then I'll be here to help you make it all really just familiar, and then help you guys go on your own paths through it within the group. Okay, so this is like my favorite thing to teach, because it's just it's the lifestyle. It's the energy and the eating and the workout stuff, right? Because I was trained in exercise science, exercise physiology, all of that stuff. Trained stop Pilates instructor. Everything I know about the muscles, the structure, and then the way that the gut works is like it all starts on the inside here with your core, and then it all starts in your mind too, for you to allow yourself to get all the way to what you want. Okay, so check it out. You can sign up right away, and we'll be starting within 2 weeks, and the sooner you get in, then there'll be a bonus call that you can do, and you'll have access to me right away in the Facebook group. So let me know if you have questions, and I'm really excited to do this again, especially as we've gotten into January a little bit, so you can kind of shake off like, oh, did I set a New Year's resolution? Am I doing it or not? This is really not that. This is not a 6-week program that you need to do if you don't have a vacation to go on, or you don't have a wedding to go to, or a birthday party. You can go to all those things. You have to do that. In fact, I'm going to be making you eat things that you think you probably shouldn't eat, because you have to get it ingrained in your head that this is supposed to be easy. And there really isn't anything you can't do. You just have to be in the right state of mind, the right energy, and build enough momentum, and then create that momentum through the daily things that we practice and do that are super good for us, that fuel us and help us to focus. So it's always connected. The food and the focus and the clarity, the energy we bring in is the energy we put out. Okay, so it's really beautiful. So check it out. Let me know if you have questions, and I'll be back soon. Bye.